The mission at Hamlin Robinson School is to ignite the academic and creative potential of students with dyslexia. What we want to provide our students access to is understanding modern media so that they can be equipped better than their peers in any other school out there to tackle the joys of literacy into the future.
Stories are about things that never were, but always are. One of the major ways that we share stories is by reading them and then talking about them. If you don't have the opportunity to encounter and read the great stories, then you don't feel like you belong.
There's something to be said for a book's power to completely take you to a different place and for you to be able to feel and empathize with characters and visualize places you've never seen before.
You realize that someone loves and shares something that you love and share, and there's excitement, and you're like, oh my goodness, you love this too, and you've read it too, let's talk about this. You can find your people with reading, you can find the stories that you're drawn to, and if you can't do that, then you feel alone.
Some things in the world are awesome, and I feel like if you don't know how to read, you're gonna miss out on some fun things.
Every Wednesday, we would have family night, and we had to all share some literary piece that we enjoyed. My dad said it helped us to get out of our own way, which we didn't really understand as a kid. When he passed, we all missed it. And at his funeral, at my dad's funeral, we all read a piece.
I feel like literature provides. It's a cultural language.
When a child's blocked, they're thinking just how dumb they are. That's what they think. It's coming across to them as, I should be getting this, I must be dumb.
You realize, oh my gosh, I'm not, she didn't use the words I'm falling behind. She said, I can't do what I'm supposed to be doing. And she cried unconsolably in the back seat. And then it was like a switch went off. She said, this is not going to define me.
It was after our daughter finished kindergarten that we noticed that she would really shut down around the issue of reading.
I have a son with dyslexia, and I watched him go from this bright, exuberant kiddo who was just curious to really introverted and depressed and scared and anxious.
We see our youngest students coming to school, and there's this kind of body language of being closed off, and this body language of not experiencing success. And then over the time that they're at the school, this kind of anchoring and settling and this feeling of confidence and success.
I had exhaled somewhat, but the moment she was on stage reading a passage, and then she looked over at Mrs. Beauregard, Joan, because she started to falter on something, and Ella gave this glance like, I see you, you see me, and Joan just gave her this nudge like, and Ella, you could see her look back at the word decode almost in her head and then say, and continue on. I exhaled. I recall exhaling then and going, she'll be better than okay.
And once a child is able to read what they want to read, it's just an important part of life, I think.
To the point where now we have to actually ask them to put the books away. And we're like, okay, we're glad you want to read, that's good, but we're in the middle of a class, you need to put it away. And we kind of do that with a smile on our face because obviously that's the problem we want to have.
We were reading Lord of the Flies, and during that project, I was reading chapter 12. And I was like, okay, just a couple more pages. And then I got into the story about the boys, their descent into savagery. And I got swept away in the story, and I actually read 2 chapters that night because I was just so caught up.
Specifically, I have a student that yesterday and today, he has just been cracking up so much at what he's reading, and it's really the first time that I've seen that. I know that he didn't like going to school last year. He was not excited at the beginning of the year, and then literally laughing so hard he was about to cry today.
I can get lost in a book, and I just stop thinking about everything and just want to keep reading.
Our world is rapidly changing, and you see that in our students, and our students have these amazing avenues by which they can tell these great stories. Those are all ways that they're telling their story, and those are all ways that they're becoming their own literary legends.
I come from a traditional book publishing background, but I firmly believe that the most important piece of all of this is the story. And those stories can come across in comic books, they can come across in graphic novels, but they're still stories, and they're still enlightening, and they're still capturing my daughter's imagination.
I like comic books and graphic novels. I like them because they're not realistic.
To an audiobook, or you're doing assistive technology with a Kindle, or you're reading a graphic novel, those are all valid ways, and ways that we should be encouraging students to be accessing these ideas.
I think that all of the new media is getting kids involved with literature in a way that they haven't been in the past. It's giving them more access to this literature that's really important.
In my capacity as the technology coordinator is that once kids are given the tools to be able to create their own stories without worrying about the mechanics, the desire to tell stories grows.
When I grew up, I really want to be a content creator.
Students began to write fiction stories, and there was one student in particular who is now writing a novel. And we have kids who come in during their lunch breaks to finish their stories, or to add on, or to just create more.
One of the most important keys to modern literacy is access to and total mastery of technology and computers.
Computers and technology are inseparable from what it means to be creative in today's world.
Our students need up-to-date technology. We need it in the primary grades. We need it in the intermediate grades. Students as young as 7, 8 years old need to be learning how to access media in a way that helps catapult their strengths.
Everything now is expected to have a sound bite, music that goes along with it. And it's not done with acoustic instruments anymore. It's usually not recorded. If it is, it's mixed. Everything is done in sound design. The future of music is technology.
The kids who are creating their own board game right now, so they're like designing the figurines for it, and we're going to 3D print the figurines, and then they're going to make the actual board game, and then they're going to type up the rule book and create the rule book for it.
Here's what we hope to achieve with our Fund-A-Need. We would like to increase access and upgrade the technology available to our students in the lower school. We would like to buy over 100 Surface Pros so that every student in middle school has a computer that they can take with them during their 3 years in the middle school at Hammond-Robinson. We want to upgrade our reading curriculum across all grade levels. And we also want to invest in a new social-emotional curriculum for our students to better prepare them to tackle the challenges that they face ahead.
The goal of this Fund-A-Need is to make sure that every middle school student at Hammond-Robinson has a new Surface laptop.
Our hope in being able to give students this responsibility and taking care of these laptops is that they are very well prepared by the time that they're in 8th grade to be able to have a smoother transition into high school.
Having one device per student at the middle school level would mean that each student gets the opportunity every day to practice using a computer at a higher level than what they are currently able to do.
We're also excited that a part of this Fund-A-Need will be training for our teachers and how to use these devices best.
One of the goals of the Fund-A-Need is to develop a new social-emotional learning curriculum for our school that's catered to our students, that ties into our core values.
A quarter of all proceeds tonight will go to our financial aid endowment. Access to the program at Hammond-Robinson School is vital. Dyslexia crosses all socioeconomic boundaries. Being able to provide access to all students so that all children can thrive in school is a critical part of our mission.
We're so lucky that we have this resource here, but we've also thought a lot about how this really isn't fair. I mean, what if we hadn't had the support of those teachers? What if we couldn't send our child to Hamlin Robinson?
Being able to become a literate person in our society is a social justice issue. It's an equity issue. And 1/4 of all funds raised tonight will go to financial aid.
I think education is the way that we solidify a democratic society, and I feel like our jobs as teachers are social justice, our equity, our access, and that's why we're here.
I truly believe that every child deserves access to literature because it gives a portal for children to dream.
A great quote, I think it's from Ira Glass, who said, "Great stories happen to those who can tell them." And we want our students to be able to capture the moments in their life that they find have meaning and to be able to share that.
The literary heroes of tomorrow must be confident in their ability to tackle new challenges and fearless in taking on what literacy is going to mean for them. They have stories to tell. Let's give them access to the tools to begin to tell it in their voice and in their way.
We can say, look at our child now. Our kids have that ability to say, bring it on.
Over 35 years ago, a group of parents took a risk and founded Hamlin Robinson School, not only for their kids, but for all the kids into the future. We're asking you to step out, to be brave, and to be thinking about what you can do to lay that foundation for the students in the future. If we reach our goal, we will be launching our children into a whole new world of modern media. What you give and what you donate really matters. Please bid high.
Please bid high, please.